Everybody, we're back with the Xfinity Series breakdown for Pocono today. This is my third video I made today. If you haven't already, you should go check out the Cup Series breakdown and the Truck Series breakdown. I'll put both of them up in the corner for you to check them out. Thank you for watching. If you're new here or if you've been here a while and haven't subscribed yet, you should subscribe. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment, leave me feedback how I'm doing. Turn on notification bell. All that stuff really helps me grow, really helps me get bigger, and it's very, very appreciated. If you also wanted to get more of my content, you can subscribe to my Patreon. It's $10 a month for all three series. You get the spreadsheets, which here I'll scroll through all my spreadsheet here. The Cup Series way more detailed, but the Trucks and Xfinity are still very, very detailed. You get that, as well as you get projections, as well as you will get my rankings, an article, my cash core, and my GBP exposures, as well as a Discord chat where you can ask me any questions that you want, and I'll be willing to answer them. So you can subscribe to that. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Twitter at DFSNateLane and at NateLane_, where I'm very active over there, posting news that needs to be heard and giving out advice sometimes, and then just talking about sports. I'm always want to talk about sports to anybody. So give me a follow on those. I'll put all those links in the description to Patreon and then Twitter and Instagram. Here we go. I guess we're going to get into driver-by-driver breakdown for Pocono. It's the same thing as the other Pocono races. You want a lot of guys who are going to finish up front. The guys that are going to start up front are going to finish up front, so you probably want a lot of guys who are going to start up front. Not a lot of place differential. There's not a lot of guys that are moving up a ton of spots. I mean, there's going to be a few, and we're going to try to find those plays that you're going to need, but for the most part, you're just going to want to be getting guys up front. All right, most expensive driver on the slate is Harrison Burton. Harrison Burton is like 18, and he has been balling out in the Xfinity Series this year. Talladega was wrecked out, was his first race, but he did not have a top 10 finish. Insane how good he's been. Looks like he's going to be a future star in NASCAR, and he's priced up that way. He's priced at $11,100. He's not the best driver in Xfinity right now, but he's pretty good. But he's most expensive today because of his starting spot, which is 10th. It's warranted. He's never raced a race at Pocono in the Xfinity Series, but he has done flat tracks where he has the best average finish, and he has the best average finish in super speedways in his short racing career in the Xfinity Series. So he's done very well at tracks that are similar to Pocono. One thing is the lap sled thing. I mean, most of the lap leaders in all these Pocono races are coming up from the front, so I don't really think Harrison Burton has a ton of lap lead upside, and he hasn't really been a huge lap leader this year anyway. He's got 83 in the last 5 races, which is good. But I just don't think that Harrison Burton's really like a candidate to lead a bunch of laps. But he has the place differential. He can finish top 2 or 3 and really pay off that salary, get some fast laps in there, maybe get a few laps sled. You never know. I think Harrison Burton's going to play 11,100. I do not think he's too expensive like Christopher Bell in the Cup Series. If you haven't watched that already, check it out. But I don't think he's too expensive. I think he's a fine play, and he's someone I'm going to have exposure to. Up next, we got Justin Allgaier at 10,700 starting 4th. Allgaier's been pretty good at Pocono, not like one of his best tracks. He has the 7th best average finish here, and he has the 7th best average position here. But laps led at Pocono, I mean, see, the past few years at Pocono, it's been dominated by like Reddick and Custer, and they're not here anymore. So now the only other driver who's led like a reasonable amount of laps is Justin Allgaier, 27. But at flat tracks, he does have 496. He has 92 at shallow tracks. Those 3 types of tracks, Pocono and those 2 types of tracks, he has the most laps led. And actually, it looks like he has most laps led at super speedways too. So if you want to bank on someone leading a bunch of laps, I think Justin Allgaier is a very, very good option. Okay, sorry, there was a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm sorry if that glitched weird there. But all right, back up. I just talked about Allgaier. We're on Ross Chastain now at 10,400. He starts 5th in this race. Ross Chastain hasn't been like the best here in the Xfinity Series. He's the 8th best average finish here and the 8th best average position here. But if you watched my Truck Series video, you do know that Ross Chastain was very, very good at Pocono in the Truck Series. So I believe that can carry over, and I don't think Chastain's going to carry a lot of ownership at all. I think he's going to be a low-owned driver that has upside dominator potential to lead a bunch of laps and possibly win this race. Cowlick Racing has looked so good. Allmendinger and Haley have gotten their wins. Chastain hasn't yet. So maybe this is the one where Chastain goes out, dominates, and wins this race. So I do like Chastain. I don't think he's going to be that highly owned, and I think he's going to be a guy that could possibly dominate and win this thing. Next we have Austin Cindric, 10,200 starting 9th. Now I really like a lot of these guys, but Cindric looks good. He has an average finish of 5.5, which ranks 3rd at Pocono, and he has the 1st best average position at Pocono over the last 2 years. In the last 5 races, Austin Cindric has an average finish of 7.75 and an average position of 4.25 and 182 laps led. Cindric's had a few races where he's led a bunch of laps and just something's happened. He hasn't been able to make up from it. And I just think Cindric looks really good. I don't know if he's the best potential lap leader just because of where he starts. It's just kind of a short race. And I don't know if he's really going to be able to get up to the front. But I think he's a very good option. I think he's definitely someone to look for to possibly be a big-time lap leader here. Up next is Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe starts third, 10,000. Briscoe has been great this year. I mean, he's had a little bit of bad luck recently with like that one thing at my Homestead, Miami. The lap sled haven't been there, but Pocono's been a great track. He is tied for the best average finish here with Hemrick, who we'll get to in a minute. And he has the 11th best average running position, which isn't great, but he's finished well here. So I don't know. He starts third, which is a great place to lead laps. But I don't know if he's really going to be that big of a lap leader. I mean, he only has 51 laps led in the last 5 races, and compared to all the other drivers priced around, that's a lot lower. I do believe if he ran up front in the Homestead Miami race that he had all the issues and had to go to the back at the beginning, had to get all his laps back, I think he would have led laps because he was the fastest car that race. Maybe Gragson was faster, but it would have been between those two, and he had a ton of fastest lap points. So I think Briscoe is a good play here. I don't think he's the best play or like a great play, but he's good. I really have a hard time thinking that anyone's beaten Noah Gragson this week. Look, Noah Gragson, man, not counting Talladega, but he even ran pretty well there. He has been on fire. I mean, he has the most laps led by a lot in the last 5 races. 227 laps led. He has an average finish of 5.2 and an average position of 3.6. Now he starts on the pole with that speed he's had, and he hasn't won any of those races either. That's the thing. The Miami race, he got both of them stolen from. He should have won both those races, but late cautions cost him with 2 laps to go, both times. It was ridiculous. Should have won both. But at Homestead, he's got the 4th best average finish and the 5th best average position. So, Pocono's been a good track for him, not great, but I mean, I just expect him to jump out to the early lead, and I expect him to lead the most laps here. If you look at the past Xfinity races, the lap leaders, it's been one main dominator. And if there's who's led 80-90% of the laps. If there's one guy who's going to do that, I think it's Noah Gragson. If Noah Gragson doesn't do it, I don't think anyone does it. But I think Noah Gragson could do it. He's just been so good this year and recently especially. I mean, he's been good at Pocono. He's been good at the tracks that are like Pocono. I think Noah Gragson's a great play. He's probably going to be really chalky. He's too cheap still. And but that's fine. I'm going to play a bunch of Noah Gragson. Next, we have Brandon Jones at 9,600 starting 7th. Now, look, his numbers do not look good here, but he's just had some bad luck with some bad finishes. If you look at his average position in the race, he has the 2nd highest average position in the field. So I think Brandon Jones is fine. I just don't I don't know. I don't think he has a ton of upside. You want him to lead laps at that salary, and I just don't think he has a ton of upside to lead a bunch of laps here. Coming into this race, he hasn't led a ton of laps. He only has 6 laps led in the last 5 races. That's just not Brandon Jones. He'll probably finish in the top 5, and that could be what's unique. Because like I said, you're going to need drivers to finish in the top 5. But I just don't know if the upside's really there for Jones. But he's a fine play. He's not going to be highly owned, so I mean he can get up front and lead laps. I think it was California or Auto Club earlier this year where he did lead the majority of the laps. He didn't win the race. He had a issue at the end of the race, and I think he either wrecked or blew an engine, so none of it ended up mattering. But he did dominate that race. Up next is Daniel Hemrick at 9,400, starting 8th place. Now, Hemrick's a guy I really like this week. Hemrick's never won a race in the Xfinity Series. It's coming. I believe that, and I think Pocono could be the race it happens at. Hemrick's not going to be a guy who's going to get up front and dominate. It's not what he does, and he's not in a good starting spot to do it, but he is tied for the best average finish at this track. And look, he is the 5th best average finish at flat tracks. He is the 4th. He is the 2nd best average finish at flat tracks. He has the best average finish at shallow tracks and the 3rd best average finish at super speedways. This is a really good track and track type for Daniel Hemrick. This is what he excels at. He's been running pretty well in the last 5 races as well. In the last 5 races, Daniel Hemrick has an average finish of 4.5 and an average position of 7.5. So Hemrick's been running very well outside that race where he wrecked at Miami, which I took that out. But he was running in the top 5 the whole freaking race. So I think Hemrick's a really good play here. I don't know if he's going to be popular or not. I don't think he'll be too popular because no one really wants to play Daniel Hemrick. But I could see Hemrick being look, you're going to need probably you're probably going to need 3 of these top guys in the optimal lineup. So who are the 3 that you think you could get? Well, if Gragson leads all the laps, none of those guys in the top that start in the top 5 are going to be in the optimal. You're going to be looking at guys like Cindric, Harrison Burton, or Daniel Hemrick, who are going to just maybe could bust out a top 5 finish. Alex LeBay, figured out how to say his name during the Dega race last week. It's LeBay. Got it. 9,200, starts 19th. I'm not interested in playing Alex LeBay. DraftKings priced him up, and he's just, I mean, he has decent numbers here, but on the season, it's not been a good season for him. In his last 5 races, he's an average finish of 20.5, and I'm just not really interested in playing a guy who's got an average finish on this in the last 5 races worse than where he's starting at for 9,200. I don't care how decent he's been in the track. If he gets like a few spots, who cares? That's not going to pay off the salary. He needs at least a top 10 to pay off that 9,200 price tag. So I'm not really interested in Alex LeBay. Myatt Snider at 9,000. Myatt Snider this week is in the number 21 car for RCR, which is one of probably the top 5 cars in the field. The problem is Myatt Snider starts second, and he's starting second to Noah Gragson. And he's never raced here in the Xfinity Series or any of these tracks, as you can see. So Snider's an interesting one. I'm not really going to play Snider. I just don't think he's going to get the lead from Gragson early. And, I mean, I guess if he just ends up finishing inside the top 5, he could pay off that salary, but I don't really see that. I just don't think he's as talented as some of the guys around him. Yeah, he's in a great car, and he'll probably finish in the top 10, but usually that 21's been starting outside the top 10, which has been great, and you just plug him in, but now he's not. So I'm not really feeling Snyder this week. Josh Williams, I don't know why he's 8,800. Like, he's not that good. He starts 13th. Again, this is just like LeBay. Average finish of 16.6 and an average position of 19.4 in the last 5 races. That's just not something I'm really excited about playing. I just don't think he has a ton of upside here. I don't see any way he gets inside the top 10. So that's going to be a pass. Jeremy Clements is an interesting one. I think he's a really good play in cash, but I'm not really going to play him in tournaments, I don't think, too much, because he starts 21st, but he's 8,600. He does have the 10th best average finish at Pocono and the 10th best average position at Pocono, which is good. Like, that's really good. He could get a top 10, but, like, he hasn't been running fantastic this year. 16.25 last 5 races and an average running position of 14.2 in the last 5 races, which is all good. But, like, I don't see the ceiling there. Like, for Jeremy Clements at 8,600, you need someone who's going to finish, like, inside the top 8 probably. And I don't think he's got that upside. So I don't think Jeremy Clements is really a good tournament option. But he has a fine cash option. He should get at least 5 to 6 positions and should probably cash you in cash. Justin Haley at 8,400 starts 6th. I think this is actually going to be an interesting play. DraftKings finally decided to price him up there. He was stuck in the 6K range for who knows why. But he got that win at Talladega last week, and DraftKings decided to price him up. But he's been running really well. He's got the 6th best average finish at Pocono and a 4th best average position at Pocono. So I think that's really, really good for Haley. The 12.8 average finish in the last 5 races isn't all that, but the 7.8 average running position is better. I think that shows that he's had some bad luck. I mean, there was one of the races where it was Bristol where he wrecked at the very end, and he could have won that race. He was going to be a top 3 car all race, so that was disappointing. So that stuff kind of skews stats a little bit, but Haley's fine. I don't think he's got a ton of upside, but if he just hangs around the 6th, 5th spot all day, he could pay off that salary. And I mean, like, I have more faith in Justin Haley finishing inside the top 5 instead of, like, Clements, Williams, Moffitt, Annette, Tommy Joe Martins, Herbst, Sieg, all of them. I think Haley is a better opportunity for that. Brett Moffitt starting 18th at 8,200. I think Moffitt's okay. He's never ran here in the Cup Series, but if you watch my Truck Series video, he was pretty solid there. Never a huge lap leader or anything, but we don't think that's going to happen anyway in Xfinity Series, but I think he's okay, and he's already going to have been on the track for a day. I know in a truck, but I think that will help a little bit. In the last 5 races, Moffitt has an average finish of 12.5, an average position of 12.5, so that's good numbers. I mean, he's going to be a fine play. It's just I don't think there's anything to, like, be too excited about here, but he's got a good floor. He should be all right. Michael Annette's actually someone I'm interested in. I'm never interested in Michael Annette, so that's shocking. But, you know, he's finally down to 8,100. Like, DraftKings have been making, like, 89, 88, and I was like, I don't know about that. And there was one race where he was, like, in the optimal, and I was like, crap. But this race he starts 12th, and he's got the 5th best average finish at Pocono. That's really only, like, good stat I have for Michael Annette. Everything else is, like, in 10 to 12 range. But that does show me that he could, like, get up inside the top 8. And if he gets up inside the top 8, he's going to have a huge day on DraftKings. He'll probably get some fast laps, and he'll be someone that you need to have in your lineup. And I don't think people are clicking on Michael Annette starting 12th, because I think people are just picking on Tommy Joe Martins, and I'm done playing Tommy Joe Martins, man. Like, he's wrecked, like, in every race. It's ridiculous. But, like, that's not even the problem. Like, he hasn't, like, been running well. Like, even before he wrecked, it's not like he's been running great. Like, he's got an average finish of 24.75 and an average position of 24, which are fine. But, like, for 7,900, I don't really know if I want a guy who's just going to get a top 25. Like, it's just a few spots up, and Pocono's a hard place to pass at. I just don't. I think this one's thin, and I think people are going to reach for the 31 starting position, and they're going to play him, and it's going to screw him. So I mean, I'm gonna pass on Tommy Joe Martin this week. It might screw me if he like ends up getting inside the top 20, but I just don't see it. Up next we have Riley Herbst starting 24th, 7,700 for Riley Herbst starting 24th. Look, Riley Herbst isn't good, and he should not be in that Gibbs car. Like, let's just get that straight. There's no way that guy is good enough to be in that Gibbs car. There's guys that are better in the Truck Series that should be in that car. There's guys better in the Xfinity Series that are in worse rides than him that should be in that car. So Riley Herbst in that car, it's confusing to me, but I mean, and he wrecks all the time. But look, he starts 24th, and he's in a Gibbs car, and he should, if he's like stays clean, he's a top 10 and 15 car, and that's gonna pay off that salary big time. He's way more upside in my opinion than Tommy Joe Martin, so I think he's a fine play. You just gotta hope he doesn't crash, which could happen because it's freaking Riley Herbst. But that's really all I got to say about him. I don't like playing Riley Herbst. I hate playing him, but now I feel like I kind of have to, so that kind of sucks. Ryan Sieg starts 11th, 7,500. Look, Sieg, you want the guys going to finish in the top 5, top 10 if you're going to be like, oh, Ryan Sieg, 7,500. Yeah, he's not good here. 14th best average finish at Pocono, 12th best average finish at flat tracks, and the 13th best average position at Pocono. Like, those aren't, like, good numbers. They're worse than a starting spot, and he's got an average of 15.5 in the last 5 races and an average position of 17. So, like, he hasn't been running well this year. For a guy to start in the top 12 in points, he just has not been running well. I don't expect him... I don't know. I just don't think he's a good play. I wouldn't play him. I'm going to stay away from Ryan Sieg this week. I mean, maybe he goes out and like wins the thing, but I would be very shocked. Up next, we have Brandon Brown starting 22nd. And look, this is the biggest. I think this actually might be the biggest misprice on this slate. Brandon Brown has been really good this year, and a team that's like not like a big. I think it's his own team, and he's been running so well. And he's 7,300. Like, DraftKings has been pricing up the guys to start towards back like Tommy Joe Martins, but it's like they completely forgot about Brandon Brown. He's got the 9th best average finish at Pocono, and I believe the 9th best average running position at Pocono as well. But, like, let's look at what Brandon Brown's been doing this year. He had in the last 5 races an average finish of 10.4. That's better than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next 10 drivers that are priced above him. Brandon Brown has better average finish than all of them. And he starts 22nd, so the upside's there. I don't know if he'll get a top 10, but he should definitely get a top 15. And for 7,300, that's really going to pay off that salary. And, I mean, it's Brandon Brown, so he may not even, like, have a ton of ownership. Brian Vargas is not in a good car. He's in the JD Motorsports car. He starts 17. There's not a lot of upside. Same thing with Jeffrey Earnhardt. They both just don't have upside. Timmy Hill's one I'm really scared to play. I'm not going to lie. Timmy Hill starts 34th, and I think it's Timmy Hill. Like, if he's in the 5Ks, great, but DraftKings price enough because he starts 34th, and I get it. In his last 5 races, Timmy Hill has an average finish of 25.2, which is just scary. It's just like, oh my god, I don't want to play Timmy Hill. It's Timmy Hill. I mean, yeah, he could get up to 25th, and he's going to completely kill that salary, and it's going to be great. But, I mean, Pocono's a track that's tough to pass at, and I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. It's Timmy Hill, bro. Like, he's not good. He's not in a really good car. There's just a lot of things that can go wrong. All right, Bailey Curry is not good. Matt Mills is not good. Chad Fincham is not good. Stephen Parsons is not good. Jeff Green is not sponsored. Joe Graf Jr. So those guys that just said, don't play him. Joe Graf Jr., me saying Jeff Green's not sponsored, he's going to be a starting park. Unless something changes and I hear it, and I'll post it on Twitter and let you know, but he's most likely going to be a starting park. Joe Graf Jr. starts 25th at 5,700. I don't think you need to go down this far this week to make good lineups. But just in the case you do, I mean, there's a few guys down here that are interesting, and one of them I hate. But Joe Graf Jr. I think is okay. I think he should hover around a 20 to 25th position the whole race. In his last 5 races, he has an average finish of 21.6 and average running position of 21.8, so that's not bad. I think Joe Graf's okay. Like, he's not going to, like, get you a ton of upside here, but he shouldn't hurt you at all. He should just have a decent race and have a decent run. Vinnie Miller's another one. Vinnie Miller starts 29th at 5,500, so there's a little more, like, place differential floor there, but his average finish has been 24.4 and average position at 26.4, so it's really the same thing as Graf. If Graf gets to 20th and Miller gets to 25th, obviously Graf's better play, but I think they're both okay plays. I mean, if you just need to go all the way down here, these are the guys to play. And then lastly is, again, BJ McLeod. Freaking hate him. But 5,200, starts 23rd. BJ McLeod has the 13th best average finish at Pocono. What is that? I don't know. I don't even know how that's possible. And he has the 16th best average position at Pocono as well. That's crazy to me. And in his last 5 races, BJ McLeod does have an average finish of 17.75. He needs a top 20 to pay off that salary. I think it's doable. I don't want to play him, but if I'm playing like 3 top tier guys, then yeah, I might have to play him. Like, I think there's ways that you don't need to play BJ McLeod, but I mean, he could end up paying off the salary. I'm really interested to see how if people start talking him up in the next 2 days, I'm gonna fade him because I'm not playing chalk BG McLeod anymore. He's killed me twice under chalk BG McLeod. When he's low owned, fine. When he's chalky, I'm not doing it. So yeah, I mean that's my way for GVP though. For cash, I think he's okay, but I still probably wouldn't go there. I think I'm telling you, you don't have to go farther than like Timmy Hill. You really don't for lineups this week. If you especially only making like one or two, if you're doing a bunch of tournaments, yeah, I guess throw some of those guys in there. Unless BG McLeod's chalked, and I'm not doing it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for today. Hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you guys still watching. Hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe. Turn on notification bell. Leave a comment. Give me some feedback. All that stuff really helps me out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll put my Patreon link and my Twitter link and my Instagram link down below. Hopefully you guys can either, if you don't want to subscribe, just at least give me a follow on Twitter. That stuff helps me grow as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys win some money this weekend.